What's going on, guys? This is Rob, and we are back with another episode of our Beyond Omega Level series. And to be honest, I've been enjoying making these Avatar videos and taking a break from the usual Marvel and DC superheroes, which, as much as I love them, I'm sure you guys will probably agree, kind of wears thin after a little while. So, we're going to do another one. Now, we've done videos on Avatar Aang, the series protagonist, and Iroh will do next week, who of course is definitely considered a fan favorite character. But today, we're focusing on a character that is not as well known, but still insanely powerful, Avatar Kyoshi. Now, Kyoshi's first real appearance was in the episode Avatar Day, the 5th episode of Season 2 of Avatar The Last Airbender. But both of Kyoshi's parents were basically criminals. Her mom was an air nomad nun that went on the run, did not mean for that to rhyme. And her father belonged to a very poor family in the Earth Kingdom. And while Kyoshi was around 5 years old, her parents basically abandoned her, leaving her with a poor villager who immediately put Kyoshi out on the street after initially agreeing to take care of her, so that guy was obviously a dick. But Kyoshi was then homeless until being adopted by an air nomad monk named Kelsang. And this guy had basically been the airbending instructor of Avatar Kuruk, who had immediately preceded Kyoshi as Avatar. Now, speaking of that, the revelation of Kyoshi as the Avatar following the death of Avatar Kuruk is pretty complicated. So this guy belonged to the Northern Water tribe, meaning that when he died, the next Avatar would come to the Earth Kingdom. And after looking for quite a long time, everybody in the Earth Kingdom believed that a friend of Kyoshi's named Yoon was the next Avatar. And when it became apparent that it was actually Kyoshi, not Yoon, that was the true Avatar, things got pretty messy. The reason for this mix-up was that Yoon was exceptionally good at earthbending, so much so that when Kelsang and a master earthbender named Jianzhu basically found this guy, they assumed that he was the Avatar. However, as time went by and Yoon showed no ability to bend air, fire, or water, causing some to doubt whether or not he was the genuine Avatar, Jianzhu doubles down on his belief and becomes Yoon's primary trainer, while Kyoshi is assigned to become his mate. Now, Yoon fully devotes himself to training to become the Avatar, and he and Kyoshi become really close friends. And then everything goes awry when Kelsang reveals that he thinks Kyoshi is the true Avatar after she uses her earthbending to control the ocean floor and destroy an entire fleet of ships. Now, Jianzhu takes both Yoon and Kyoshi to a cave to convene with a spirit named Father Glowworm in hopes that the spirit will reveal who is the true Avatar. Now, once Father Glowworm reveals that Kyoshi is the true Avatar, Jianzhu leaves Yoon to be held prisoner by Father Glowworm, literally fed him to a mountain. But shortly thereafter, Kyoshi would try to escape the Earth Kingdom from Kelsang, but Jianzhu murders Kelsang before they can get away. So following this, Kyoshi and her friend Ranji both join the Flying Opera Company, which is the gang that her parents belong to. Now, Ranji, who came from the Fire Nation, serves as Kyoshi's firebending teacher, and the two of them also fall in love. And so after being attacked by Jianzhu and seeing him killed by Yoon, who had long been presumed dead, Kyoshi decides to reveal herself to the world as the Avatar. Now, as for her powers, of course, as the Avatar, Kyoshi was able to bend all four elements, earth, air, fire, and water, meaning that she can manifest and control each of these four elements. However, Kyoshi does have multiple abilities that are not typical to all benders. For instance, during her time with the Flying Opera Company, Kyoshi learned a sub-skill of earthbending called dust stepping, which is literally just what it sounds like, creating clouds of dust that she can walk on, which sounds pretty badass, and which is impressive because of one of Kyoshi's shortcomings for a long time, which was that she struggled with feats of earthbending that required her to control small particles of earth with precision. Now, what she never struggled with, however, was moving around huge masses of land, which she's done some incredible earthbending in that regard, including, like I mentioned earlier, bending the ocean floor as well as throwing boulders, lifting entire buildings, splitting walls at will, and digging moats instantaneously. Now, Kyoshi displayed a natural adeptness at firebending and developed her skills even further under the tutelage of her girlfriend Ranji. Not only is she able to do all the typical firebending stuff, but Ranji developed a technique based on dust stepping called jet stepping, which combines elements of firebending and earthbending. Holy shit. Now, Kyoshi also had a natural talent for airbending and was able to perform many feats of airbending despite never really receiving any training. Now, in terms of waterbending, not only could Kyoshi manipulate huge quantities of water, but she could also use her abilities to heal others using waterbending, and during her final showdown with Yoon, following his return as a villain, she used them to freeze his heart and lungs, killing him. Holy shit. Now, during that same confrontation, she also used her powers to heal Ranji, who'd been mortally wounded, and did this by entering the Avatar state and using water from underground reservoirs. That's badass. Now, in what was probably Kyoshi's most impressive feat, she accessed the Avatar state and used elements of earthbending, firebending, and airbending to create Kyoshi Island. Now, in order to create the island, Kyoshi separated a peninsula from the rest of a landmass by creating a fissure deep enough to access the mantle layer, and then using lava bending to separate the two masses of land before using airbending to summon a wind strong enough to move the land out into the sea. That's amazing. Now, by the time she died at the age of 230, wow, making her the longest living avatar on record, Kyoshi had cemented a legacy as one of the greatest avatars of all time. Now, during her time as Avatar, she created an elite force of warriors known as the Dai Li, which were basically earthbending ninjas used by the Earth King to put down a peasant revolt, although this would muddy her legacy a bit because the Dai Li were eventually corrupted. But even so, being able to train a group that exercise such precision in their earthbending like the Dai Li is quite impressive, given that Kyoshi herself struggled with precision for a long time. But Kyoshi also formed the Kyoshi Warriors, an elite fighting force of female warriors tasked with protecting Kyoshi Island, and that endured long after her death. And so Kyoshi's time as Avatar was also a time of nearly unprecedented peace that saw each nation prosper. And so shortly after her death, however, that peace began to fall apart. And even in her homeland of the Earth Kingdom, as the Earth King proved to be corrupt, using the Dai Li to expel those who basically opposed him. And so what I also want to do here, I want to point out probably one of the single most significant abilities of Kyoshi beyond all of this, which is to be a narcissist. The girl named an island after herself and then named an entire group of warriors after herself. How much of a narcissist do you have to be to do that? With that being said, guys, we're going to bring this video to an end. Thank you all for watching, and I will catch you all later. Peace.